Rock 100.5, the KATT, KATT. Jay Ramone, the No Brown M&M's podcast. We are live in the dressing room of the historic Diamond Ballroom. This is Wes Scantlin. Wreck the Halls, night 2 tonight. Puddle of Mudd and Tantric in the house. How are you today, bud?
I'm great, man. I feel wonderful.
In Wichita last night.
Yeah,
you know,
awesome show.
That's close to being home for you. Not really, but
yeah,
a little
it's
bit.
right there, man. It's like, yeah, it's being hop, skip, and a jump.
The one thing that's always confused me is there's Kansas City, Missouri, but it's
Kansas City, Kansas, right there too.
That's so.
It's on the line, man. But the city is on the line of the border.
That had to be two like city officials who just like didn't get along. Or
I don't
like,
know.
Nope, it's Kansas.
I wasn't born then.
I'd be curious to know what the
there were some feuds, I bet.
so where do you live now?
I'm on the road, man. Like really seriously, wherever I lay my head is home, which is Kansas City. But I also got a little spot in Cali, and it's a nice little spot just for a single man as myself.
Have you always gone back home to Kansas City and spent time there when you're on break?
Yeah, I do.
Because I know you spent the majority of the time on the West Coast there for a while.
Yeah, not really, man. I was on tour a lot, you know. And I did bounce into Kansas City, and I just kind of, that's how my life is. It's kind of like a gypsy type deal.
So let's go back to the famous record.
Like yeah,
I'm a punk rock guy.
Yeah.
I grew up a punk rock fan.
Killer.
And when you look at the list of bands who have recorded at the Blasting Room and recorded with Jason Livermore and Bill Stevenson, it's all these punk bands. There's punk band after punk band after punk band, and then there's Puddle of Mudd.
Yeah.
How did that come about? Because you speak so highly of Bill in interviews and things like that. That just seemed like an odd pairing to me.
It just went for it, you know. It was cool. The vibe felt cool, and we went with it, and
Was that something where you just went, you know what?
It was wild, man. It was wild doing that record, man. There was a lot of cooks in the kitchen, man. But it turned out cool. It turned out good.
I'm just a big fan of their production.
Yeah, they're amazing.
And the way they make records. And so you guys kind of standing out, working with them who are typically punk guys. And I just didn't know if you were an old school Black Flag fan or what.
I am really. I'm just a fan of a lot of different kinds of music. But I might not look punk rock, but I meant, seriously, man, my life is like super punk rock in a sense. Maybe even beyond.
So the Covers record that came out in 2011.
Yeah.
How did you narrow down the songs that you wanted to put on there?
I kind of just stepped back and just was like, they're all cool. All the songs that we were recording were really amazing songs anyway. So I just figured you could line them up anyway, and it'd be great all day, you know.
So that's been the last release other than Piece of the Action that came out just a little bit ago. What's next for Puddle of Mudd?
We're coming out with a new record, and it's really badass, and we've worked our butt off on it, and I can't wait to get it out. Coming soon. Coming soon. Yeah.
Can you give us any insight?
It's just a bunch of great songs, man. Heartfelt and true to Puddle of Mudd form,
Any new bands out there now that you're listening to?
If just whatever's on the radio, going down the road, man.
So you still hear your songs quite a bit then?
I barely, except for when we jam them, and rehearsals.
I know during soundcheck it was cool to hear Blurry and just like you guys getting it all dialed in. I was like, man, you forget how big some of those songs were.
Yeah.
Blurry was such a huge hit.
Yeah, it's good, man. It's a healing song. It heals people, and including myself.
So what's after this tour? What, you're going to put out the new record and stay on the road being a gypsy?
Roll, yeah, and just gypsy it out.
All right, so if you're a gypsy, that means you like to explore a little bit, and you like to go out and see your surroundings and what's out there. What do you do when you get to each city?
We go to our room, and then we come to the sound check, and then we get some food, try to relax, keep the voice in shape, and do everything you can to keep your voice feeling good.
All right, man. Everybody, Wes Scantlin from Puddle of Mudd. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Right on, man. Thanks.
You're welcome.